7:42, almost 60% of women between the ages of 45 and 55 say menopause has a negative impact on them at work. And despite it being a simple fact of life, women who take time off to deal with the symptoms feel uncomfortable discussing it with their manager. The Chartered Institute of Personnel and Development have released guidance for employers on how to address the issue. We're joined now by Rachel Suff from a CIPD and also by Juliet Saimbi, who started experiencing symptoms several years ago. Thank you very much, the pair of you, for coming in and talking to us about this morning. And thank you for all the messages we've had as well, which we'll try and read out a little bit later on. Tell us a little bit, first of all, about the symptoms, when they came on and how difficult it was to cope with.
Okay, about 7 or 8 years ago, I started having symptoms. So not just the normal hot flushes, it was about anxiety, absolute panic attacks. I'm a very confident person and I lost that. I drive 50 miles to the office and 50 miles home, and I really don't know how I got there. When I got to work, I would just be locked in the car. I couldn't get out of the car and would go up the 10 floors into the main head office, dreading anyone talking to me. So it's absolutely, 3 in 4 women have menopause symptoms, 1 in 4 are severe, and 3 years ago I nearly left my job.
Which would have been a huge shame. And you've gone on, haven't you, to try and make a difference for other women like you?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was thinking, if I'm feeling this way, how many more people at Severn Trent, where I work, would be feeling this way? And I looked at the stats, and 1/3 of our population are female, 1/3 of those are 45 and over. So I'm thinking, gosh, we need to do something here. They could be feeling like I was and not saying anything. So that's when I thought, right, we absolutely have to do something. I put a team together, we had events. I saw 400 people, men and women, within 4 months. Wow. And the feedback is unbelievable.
And hopefully that's it's feedback that sort of changes things. Rachel, explain to us exactly what you're calling for.
Well, we're calling for employers to take the menopause seriously, to create the kind of environment and the culture where women can ask for support, because you don't leave the symptoms of the menopause at home. You do take them into work with you, and that's why, as Louise said, we did find that most women do experience a negative impact at work. There's an awful lot of symptoms you can have, and people want to perform at their best at work, but it is a taboo, and that's what we want to break down.
I mean, Jan on email says, as a teacher, I've gone down to 3 days a week because of the debilitating and awful symptoms. It's not just a hot or cold flushes, it's all other symptoms that make you feel so ill. I've not been able to inform my work as it's not seen as a problem. So let's just start with that first, that point she makes about not being able to talk about it. There is a sense that there is a taboo, isn't there?
Definitely, and that's why we've produced this guidance at the CIPD, because we find that very few organisations have any support, a framework, a policy. People are afraid to talk about it, and that if the environment is such that you can't go and ask your manager for support, you're not going to get the help you need, and you're really going to feel very isolated.
Let me read you what Julie says as well. She says that menopause and work, the two don't go together. I felt embarrassed, she says, people wondering what was wrong with me. When I told them, they were embarrassed and made jokes, felt like screaming.
It's so, oh gosh, yes, I've been there. It's so sad, and it's and part of my kind of role in educating both men and women is please don't suffer in silence. Go talk to your line managers, your friends, your family. Go and see your GP. Say exactly how you've been feeling. What are the symptoms? For me, I chose to go on to HRT, which was life-changing, but I'm not saying that works for everybody. Look at your lifestyle, your natural...
Some people just can't take HRT for health reasons as well, or maybe choice, as you say. What things... because there are some simple things that might make a difference, aren't there? What things can make a difference?
Yeah, so we were talking earlier, weren't we? So even in Severn Trent, we've got lots of people now with fans on the desks linked into the computers. They don't make a noise.
It sounds really simple, but makes a difference.
It's a simple tool. If people need to go out for a break and get some air, because a hot flush isn't just feeling a little bit warm. I would feel faint and could fall and grab somebody. It's so all of those things, and just thinking about how can you make the day better for people, because we want people to be the very best every day.
Are you finding a bit of a barrier in talking to employers sometimes, or is there an acceptance that things need to change a little bit?
Yes, and I think there is still a feeling that perhaps the menopause isn't a workplace issue, and that's what we're trying to get across. Actually, it is a workplace issue. We've got half the workforce of women who are going to experience the menopause at some stage. And it means you can't perform at your best if you're experiencing these symptoms. You're not able to talk about it. And as Juliet says, small changes can make a really big difference. Think about flexible working as well. Sleep disruption is one of the major symptoms. If you can have a later start time. But the main thing is being able to have a conversation with your manager as well and talk about what kind of adjustments could help.
I mean, because people are able to go and have breaks for other reasons, aren't they? So that's quite a simple thing to do, isn't it?
Yes,
Exactly.
absolutely.
Exactly. Treat it as a health condition because it is a health condition. Some symptoms can be severe and it's fluctuating as well. So you need to have an ongoing conversation about what can help.
And it's not forever. There is
That's
light at the end of the tunnel.
I was going to make that
I'm back
point.
to normal, yes.
How long?
Sorry?
How many years?
Oh, gosh, about
Quite
8.
a few. Longer
Right.
than I'd realised before we started doing the research. I think the
because it
average
can-
is about 4 years. But it can go on for a lot longer than that.
Did you notice Louise was fanning herself
I
earlier
did,
on?
I did.
You have my sympathies.
You could get a little
Anyway.
desk fan under here if you like.
That would be a really
There you
good
go.
suggestion, everybody. And then my hair would be like that too.
There you are, a simple change can make a big difference.
Simple changes.
Like a wind tunnel.
We've all got suggestions. Thank you. How's
good
Carol?
subject.
She's it's very cold this morning, Carol. I noticed. Rather lovely.